In this video, we're going to go over how you can organize and set up your course menu. We'll cover some of the common areas that instructors like to use when editing their course menu. This video by no means is going to cover all the different things that you can do with the course menu, but more of a high-level overview for common items. First off, each Blackboard course will receive the standard template for the course menu, which we see on the left-hand side. For example, you will see the information area and the content area. It is personal preference on how you wish to organize your course menu and what items you wish to add. But let's cover some of the common things. First off, any of the items listed on the left-hand side can be deleted, renamed, or edited. So let's say instead of calling the information area information, you want to title that something such as course information. You can simply rename the area. To do so, you're going to click on the down arrow listed next to that item and choose to rename link. From here, you'll type in the new name, and then you'll go ahead and click on the green checkbox to save your change. Renaming the items in the course menu may simply just make it easier for your students to know exactly what information is found underneath that area. So for example, underneath the content area, if you're going to be placing only PowerPoint slides underneath this area, you may want to rename this to PowerPoint slides. Before we rename any more areas, let's talk about some other things that you can do with the course menu. You can delete areas that you won't be using. So in this case, we can see an item for groups. If you're not going to be using groups in your Blackboard course, I would recommend hiding or deleting this area. It's best to keep the course menu as clean as possible to make it as straightforward for your students. To delete or hide an item, go ahead and click on the down arrow listed next to that item, and then choose Hide Link or Delete. I'm going to go ahead and choose to delete, and we can always add back in the groups area if we need to. Once we have done that, the next thing that we can do is reorder the items listed on the course menu. So let's say that we wanted the content area to be at the top. We can go ahead and move that to the top. To do so, hover your mouse on the left side, and when you see the 4 arrows, simply click your mouse and drag the item to the location that you want it in. If you have a really short course menu like we see on screen right here, reorganizing it may not make a huge difference, but if you have a really long course menu, it will definitely make a difference for your students. Another thing that we can do with the course menu is add additional items. If we hover our mouse underneath the plus icon, we can see various types of items that we can add. Let's first talk about tool links. If we go ahead and click on tool links, what this does is it allows us to add a tool link to the course menu, which means that students have an easier way to access those links. It doesn't make sense to necessarily add a link for a tool that you're not using, but if you're going to be using certain tools, you may want to add it to the course menu. A good example of this is announcements. If you plan to use Blackboard for announcements, you may want to add announcements to your course menu so that students can access the announcements area easily. So what we're going to do is add a tool link here. We're going to go ahead and name it. I'm going to go ahead and name it announcements, but you could call it anything. And underneath type, we're going to want to make sure that announcements is selected. We then want to make sure that we check the box next to available to users. And then go ahead and click submit. This adds the announcements area to the course menu so students can easily see it. Another tool that a lot of instructors like to add is grades. So if we click on the plus sign and choose tool link, we can go ahead and type in the name. I'm going to call this my grades, and then from type I'm going to choose grades. Now what this does is it provides an easier way for students to view the grades in the course. If you don't add this area to the course menu, students can still view all of their grades. However, there's just another area and location that they have to go to view the grades. So this simply just provides a more straightforward access for students to look at the grades in your course. And then we're going to go ahead and do submit to save this. Now let's talk a little bit more about adding content areas to the course menu. So we briefly talked about the content area already created, as well as course information. Think of a content area simply like a folder or a page. You can have as many folders or as many pages as you want on your course menu. So this is simply just a way to organize your course. If you want to keep all content underneath the content area, you're welcome to do so. So this may include any type of file you're going to upload, if you're going to do assignments, if you're going to post tests, you can put all of that underneath the content area if you wish. Or if you would prefer, you can go ahead and add additional content areas or additional pages to organize those items. So let's say in this course you plan to do several tests for the students using Blackboard. And what you want to do to make it easier on the students is to have a separate area for tests. We can go ahead and add a content area for tests. So to do that, we're going to click on the plus sign and click content area. And I'm going to go ahead and call this tests. So as we can see, it added an item for tests in our course menu, which I'm going to go ahead and drag up a little bit. So then what would happen from here is, as the instructor, I'm going to click on tests, and I would go ahead and add any of the tests to this part. To learn more about tests, go ahead and check out the area underneath tests and quizzes. So now we can see in the course menu we have an area for content, we have course information, and we have tests. Again, you can continue to add additional content folders and items if you wish. But let's go ahead and talk about another option for setting up the course menu. If you would like, you can break everything down within folders within a content area. So what I mean by this is, if we go ahead and click on content, once you click on content, we can go ahead and add folders, or maybe think of them like subfolders, to the content area for you to save information. So to add a folder, we're going to go ahead and click build content, and we're going to choose content folder. So in this case, I want to go ahead and organize my course based by weeks. So what I mean by that is, I want to keep all of the information that pertains to week 1 in the week 1 folder, and then all the information that pertains to week 2 in the week 2 folder, and so forth. So what I want to do here is go ahead and create a folder named week 1. Then I'm going to go ahead and create another folder for week 2 so you get an idea of what this looks like. So now, underneath the content area, we have a folder for week 1 and a folder for week 2. I would go ahead and continue to create a folder for each week of the course. And then from here, when I want to add items for the students, I would simply click on week 1. And I can go ahead and add any files, tests, assignments, or so forth that relate to week 1. So what I can do from here is go ahead and, let's say I want to add a file that I would like the students to see that relate to week 1. So I could go ahead and click build content. I'm going to go ahead and do file. And we're going to go ahead and name our file. I'm going to browse my computer to locate the file that I want the students to see. And then I'm going to click submit. So now, let's go ahead and go back a step here. If I'm a student, once I click on the content area, I would then drill into week 1 to find anything relating to week 1. And then from here, I would see any of the files that are pertaining to week 1. In this case, there's just one file, and it's titled week 1 reading. I could then go to content and click on week 2 to see anything that relates to week 2. So that's just another option for how you can set up the course menu. There really is an unlimited number of ways that you can set up your course menu, so do not think that you're limited to what we covered in this video. We also went through these items very quickly in the video, so for additional steps on how to create various items, please check out the additional tutorials underneath customizing your course for more step-by-step information.